Hello there. So I want to talk to you about exactly why Sims, or EA rather, is transitioning to what a lot of people know as in-game currency platform. So a lot of the going on and ranting and raving about The Sims 5 is canceled. And my position is that Sims 5 never existed, so you can't cancel something that never was. They have just recently revealed a little bit more about their project, Renee, and I think we really need to discuss what they're actually planning and what they actually never planned, because it's important to understand how the in-game currency actually works. Looking at it as a whole and the gaming platform on how in-game currency makes money for the developers. So, for example, Roblox has, even though that's a different situation because you have game developers that they ride off of, but you have what's called premium subscriptions, and that's one way that they make money, is they want to keep people playing the game. It's all about the time that each player spends in the game. Analyzing and monitoring and tracking player behavior, time in game, is something that Sims has done for a very long time. If you've paid attention, you'll notice that the announcements about Project Renee, and when they come out, the leaders and the CEOs of the company, and if you just listen to their speeches, they will tell you, they will brag about how they now have 500 million players across the globe. And that's not just Sims 4. Sims 4, I think, is up close to 80 million now, but the Sims franchise itself has about 500 million players. They monitor, if you go sign in to Sims, and you'll notice that they have monitored, unless you have it disabled, exactly down to the minute how many hours that you, the player, have spent in the game. They know how much hours you're spent building versus how much you're spending CAS versus how much you're actually doing gameplay. And they know these things. And why would they track these things? Because these things are important for their data collection. And it's not just so much for the game developers to know what to spend more focus on in presenting, although that's a small part of it. But you have such as stock. Roblox has gone, I think they went public in 2021. And so you have a lot of investors, you have licensee agreements, a lot of things behind the scenes that make them money. And so EA stock and people watching the game development and what people are doing with games that don't even play games. These are also players in the game world, if you will, because they're investors, there's sponsors, there's advertisers. Anyways, so the whole in-game currency thing is as follows. So when you, like on Roblox, when you spend time in game in a lot of the games, or in a lot of the games besides Roblox on mobile, are basically, you will get currency for your gameplay. So the longer you spend time in the game, the more currency that you will get. And you will be able to buy now, instead of like using mods or kits, they don't want you to be able to get a bunch of free stuff from mods anymore, I don't think. So I think that's why they're kind of opening this platform for mods. It's a little bit piecemeal transition to the whole in-game currency. Now, The Sims 4, all the money they've made selling packs and the base game and all that should still remain free, but they're just opening their horizons for those on mobile. Now, I read an article by a game reviewer and whatever, Game Rant and all these other game websites, and they said that it's this Project Renee is mobile. That's also available on PC, but that's absolutely not true. Project Renee is going to be something that's available for PC, but it's also available for mobile. So I didn't like that they said that backwards, right? So it's going to be, one of the things that they have said is it's going to be multi-platform. Like, for example, one of the benefits, and it's optional, it's important to note that, is that you will be able to play with other people. I don't know how they're going to do that. If you're limited to what packs you own, I should be able to see, somebody who may have a world that I don't have, but whatever. But that's their plan. But one thing that I think that they've just recently revealed that has a lot of people upset is a lot of people hate the even idea of microtransactions. But here's where microtransactions aren't really what's happening. It's all about the in-game currency. So when you build up your currency, they're going to have it in this specific world that's going to be opened up when Project Renee is released. So now everybody that, in our normal packs and worlds, we've already bought and paid for that. So shouldn't affect that, because that would seriously be a problem to take away something we've already paid for. But in the new world that they're going to be opening in the Project Renee is you're going to, on mobile especially, is you're going to have game time, and you'll get certain currency as you spend time in the game. And with that in-game currency, you'll be able to buy things like a new outfit or cosmetics or maybe build items. And what this does is, let's say you have to spend a certain amount of time to get a build item that you really want, and it's free. You're going to get that build item, and you don't have to pay for it with physical money. This is what Roblox does. You don't, I'll give you an example. Mark Rober is a big YouTuber, and he created a game called Build Rocket, which I really love. You can see the video, you can see the videos in my Roblox and other games playlist. So basically what you do is your goal is to get to the farthest planet, and you need the strongest blocks to be able to do that, because the stronger your blocks, the stronger your rocket, and you're, avoiding, asteroids and, stuff like that. And so it takes a long time, in-game time, to go to these planets that you can make it to with your weak, build items to mine. You do mining. And once you get enough mining done, then you have your in-game currency that you get the longer you play the game to get the stronger items. But there's a shortcut. Let's say you don't really want to spend the time doing all the mining, and you just want to hurry up and build the most rambunctious, strongest rocket to get on down to that last planet and battle that mouse or whatever. Well, you can just buy the blocks. That's the option. And I think that's what they're doing. Is like, let's say you're going to play in this new world that they're going to release in Project Renee. So let's say, I don't want to spend 3 hours to get that build item that I want, building up the game currency. I just want it now. Well, you can just buy it. So there'll be options to just buy it, right? I just want it now. And these little tiny, that's where, if microtransactions are going to be, it's going to be an option. Just play the game, or if you want something now, then you can pay for it. All right? So, as a whole, the more they see people continuing to, they literally, I think they went up 35%, build more, 35% more players, I think was in 2022. And so that's what they look at. And when you have a company that they see that they're getting more players, they're getting more people spending time in the game, then they're probably going to sell more stock. And you have, again, they last bragged about 500 million players, and it's a franchise thing, which is why they're bringing, My Sims back, and they have 2 different types of mobile games. And so the Project Renee is going to just expand the Sims game rather than start all over with a brand new engine for, they're just going to keep selling more packs, but they're also going to expand because the younger generation really are very addicted to the in-game currency. There's a big market. There's a big market for that. So they're not going to, it's not something you're going to have to do if you don't want to even be involved in the Project Renee. But the real problem is their ability to have an engine for all the millions and millions of players who have been playing Sims 4 since 2014, and especially if you have all of the packs, then the ability to continue to add to the same core engine and not have it completely broken so that they can do their expanded in-game currency. I personally think the amount of people who are threatening to boycott Project Renee, I think they really should just have a separate franchise for in-game currency on mobile. And I think that the amount of people that I think that they'll probably end up losing a lot more players once they figure out what is actually happening, because all these people, I think the whole Sims 5 is canceled is actually, I think it's deliberate deception. I think to say that there ever was a Sims 5 is fraud. I think it's a scam. I think people, especially those who are sponsored, I think they knew all along there never was a plan for Sims 5. Their intent is to transition to a different type of game in their expansion on the next world. They have never, I've listened to the interviews with the developers and the CEOs, and they've never once said that they were working on Sims 5. They said that it was always called Project Renee, that was going to, they used the word coexist. They're not going to replace Sims 4. And I heard that very clearly. So it's very irritating to me that there are now a lot of people, and if you'll just pay close attention to the people doing videos about Sims 5 being canceled, you will see that those are channels that are sponsored by EA. So ask yourself, why are these Sim players who have known all along that Project Renee always said that they're going to coexist, why are they coming out with the whole Sims 5 is canceled? Why are they doing that? Is it possibly because they didn't want you to know that while they've been advertising and reviewing every single pack that's come out, that all the time that they were pushing those packs for you to continue to gobble up and make them money, that they knew all along that they had no intention of ever creating a Sims 5, that they're going to be transitioning into a new type of platform and combining it with the current one in the same core engine into in-game currency? How did they not know that? No, really think about it. If you were to watch the same videos that I did with the developer who said that and one interesting thing, and I did this, I mentioned this in a video a couple of weeks or so ago, that the very interview with the developer who talked in great detail about Project Renee, they made that video unlisted. Why would you change the settings of your video on YouTube to be unlisted? So, it's not, you know what I mean? It's because while they're out advertising that Sims 5 is canceled, they didn't want you to be able to access that same interview that they all saw and knew what was going on, that they never intended ever to replace Sims 4. To me, it's just very deceptive. And I think that, them getting sponsored by EA, to me, I'm done with those channels. And I have marked every single channel who has claimed The Sims 5 is canceled. And I know they know better. I know that they're in touch with every single thing that's going on with EA and The Sims, and I know they know better than to say something like Sims 5 is canceled. And because they've been pushing these packs. And now they're acting all upset, oh my gosh, why is Sims 5 canceled? No, they knew. They're playing you. So yeah, in-game currency, as long as I can just continue to play, I'm not really in the in-game currency thing. I have played games that are in-game currency, especially if you've known my channel for a while or as a Robloxing, and that I did play, a lot of games, and I very, very rarely ever would like skip the time in game that you have to do to get items or whatever, and just go ahead and use the option to buy it and save time or whatever. But you'd be surprised that in-game currency is the going thing. But there are legal issues, serious legal issues with the whole in-game currency thing. The platform such as Sims, where they have been selling packs, and I think that's going to be very complicated for them. I think their idea to just make it all one game, to expand it, if they could manage a game with the same engine and to where it doesn't have bugs, and I just think that they're not even able to do an update. Look at this lady walking through the walls. See what I'm saying? They're not able to manage currently an update, which was 12 gigabytes, to fix problems they're already having in their packs. Because if they were able to manage adding more packs and keeping the, stability of the core engine, I wouldn't really have a complaint. You know what I mean? If they're just adding more options. But the problem that they're running into already before they've even started, and the guy that was the head of the Project Renee, yeah, he left. Did you know that? Because I don't see any of these big YouTubers who's sponsored by EA telling me about that. Yeah, I did a video a few weeks back about how they were hiring, because people are saying Project Renee even was canceled. I'm like, no, they were currently in the hiring process as of, I think, I don't know, it was in recent months, last year or whatever. Yeah, they, look at that chicken coop over there. But anyways, the bottom line is, in-game currency is what they're moving to, and you have to look at it from the EA perspective. I think EA is worth, I think it was like $38 billion, okay, and their stock, they make money off stock. So it's not just the games and the selling and the prices for each game that you're paying for. There's bigger things going on behind the scenes, like, stock. Okay, so as a whole, EA and their games, that they are seeing more profit coming in in-time games, and that's why they're monitoring how much time you spend in a game. The amount of players, time in game. It's all about time in game, because that is really very important to the whole in-game currency. I'll give you an example. I developed a game in Roblox, and I wasn't even trying. I was just doing something for fun, to hang out with friends and chat and just hang out. Just, it's just more like an open, lot of cool obby stuff and just fun stuff to, cars and Bugattis and just different stuff to do and hang out. It's more like a hangout game, right? But I actually got notification that I was paid, because when they have premier subscribers on Roblox, they when those particular players go into a game, developers of a game literally get paid. So I got paid Roblox, which Roblox converts to actual money. So in-game time for players, it's not just currency to buy items. They want your time, because in-game time is very important as a profit as a whole. When they look at a franchise or a game platform, when investors, invest in a company that's growing and when they can brag that they have this amount more players and they have this amount more people spending this amount more time on their platform, that's a very competitive thing, because that's investors invest in stock in their company. That's just one of the things. So I think I hear them always talk about how much money they're making off of packs. And I hear you. You're right. They do make a lot of money off packs. But there's so much more behind the scenes. You've got your investors, you've got your advertisers, you've got your stock, you've got, it's just a bigger picture altogether. One of the things I did see in the particular article was that the Sims community themselves are to blame, because, they're really kind of promoting a boycott of Project Renee. And, they really do have the influencing power, if you will, over these developers. And I foresee that if they add a big new world and change a lot of things with this Project Renee, with the instability that they currently have, with the inability to fix the packs, the things that they said they were fixing, they're not fixing, in fact made more bugs, I don't see their engine being stable. I don't see them having the team that they really need currently. You had one guy just walked out, and I don't see anybody new that has replaced him, and now that's kind of hush-hush, and I just don't see the stability to take this project on and to add it. And I personally would not, I do like the idea, and don't get mad at me, but I do like the idea of the whole being able to play with other players that you have shared accounts with or whatever. I like that idea. I mean, I don't have a problem with them continuing with the same engine so long as it's stable and they don't continue to have brokenness in packs that they've sold. They need to fix it, and their attempt to fix it with their big laundry list didn't work. Did not work. And I'm monitoring the whole down detector to see when, game platforms are down, and there's continued new reports of issues. And so just go to the down detector if you see a new issue. But again, I think that if they just did the in-game currency on the mobile and just kept that part of the game separate, I don't really see it would be that big of a deal. Because when they play Sims on mobile, it is different than when you play on PC. The PC and console game pretty much is the same, but I think they're trying to merge it into one, and I could be wrong, but I just don't see that working out. I just don't. But it appears that's what they're trying to do, at least in one respect. But trying to take PC playing into in-game currency, I think they're going to have a lot of resistance. I know they have a lot of younger, new generation who's used to in-game currency, and especially the younger players they get, they're like, oh yeah, I'll spend time in the game and buy stuff that way. You know what I mean? Because that's how Roblox really grew, because a lot of their crowd was pretty much just kids, on allowances, and so them being able to just have time in game and turn that into being able to buy stuff for the game. I mean, people love that, right? And so it's a thing. It's well accepted, but Sims is kind of like been a different platform altogether, separate. But I think they're trying to follow trends in the game and marketing world. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll manage it, and maybe it'll happen, and maybe everybody will end up being all happy and whatnot, and maybe they won't lose a whole lot of players, okay? But people who've been playing this game for 20-some years, and then been playing Sims 4 for 10 years, I just want to continue to play the game as it is, and build, and I don't need any more packs than what I have. I get that they make packs for money, but if I have to, if I can't buy stuff, if I can't do the whole mods is really what sold me on the game, was the ability to customize your game. And if you want to use mods, it is at your risk, but if they start in-game currency what I play on the PC, I will probably lose interest. I'm not interested. I don't want to see the ads. I don't want to see oh, for this amount, you can buy this item. I don't want to see that. In fact, that little pop-up they did with that, the Grim Reaper reward, that's on my nerves. I just quit playing for a few days. These is old videos that I have right now. I'm like, I don't want to see pop-ups on my screen. Even for an event, that's annoying. How to constantly click out and remove that stupid pop-up off my screen is absolutely annoying. So no, I will not be playing if they bug me out with, oh, for this amount of currency, you can buy this. If I see that on my screen, on my computer's playing Sims, yeah, I will be going to play something else. And I know that Paralives is like a one-time fee, and there's nothing you're not supposed to be doing, packs or whatever. So people are questioning, well, is there going to be are you doing the in-game currency? Are you doing microtransactions? transactions. Like, people can't figure out how can they just do a one-time fee. So Paralives may end up being that, and they just haven't revealed that yet because they don't even have a release date yet. But I'm just interested in building. You know, if I think somebody is a good time for somebody to create a game like Sims that's just for building. Like, there's people that just like to build, like Garden Escapes, and there's so many different like building games, and they could just leave the whole sim role playing and all that out and just let people build and create, right? And really, seriously, I think somebody should create that, and I think they would do very well, because I know there's a large amount of people who may not play Sims just because they're not interested in this sim activity and the whole role play. I really don't. The role play isn't that much fun for me, but just the building and creating, I think there's a big enough market just to have a game for just building, different types of building, you know. But anyways, that's it for this one, and I hope that you have a blessed day. I appreciate you comment what you think about the whole in-game currency. Is it something that you have played? Do you like in-game currency? Can you imagine playing Sims and dealing with in-game currency messages? I can't.